What's going on, everybody? BP here. I've been getting a lot of emails recently about the stock GBIM, so I decided to go ahead and take a serious look into it and find out exactly what's going on with the stock. It made a big move recently on Friday, and as you can see, it popped up about 100%, pretty big move. There's no news to speak of that I can find, and the answer to the question of what's going on is basically we really don't know. So I decided to dig in a little further to find out some of the recent activity with the stock and look at some of the facts. And the first thing, if you Google the stock GBIM, that you'll find is of interest is that the street has the stock rated below a D minus. It's got it rated an E plus, which is horrible, and as a sell. Okay, so that right there off the top tells you a lot. When you look down, their reasoning. It was reviewed on March 3rd, which is very recent. Let's see, sell rating score of E plus, based on significant below par investment measures, which should drive the stock to significantly underperform the majority of stocks that we rate. The company's weakness can be seen in multiple areas, such as generally disappointing historic performance in the stock itself and poor profit margins. All right, so this right here shows you that the stock's pretty weak, and I have to tell you from what I've been looking at with the financials and whatnot, I tend to agree with what the street's saying here. It sounds about right. Okay, when you search the news, and when I search for news, a lot of times you can miss certain things. So what I found is a good way to do it is to type it, instead of typing in like GBIM stock, type in Global Immune, type in the full company name into Google, and then go to news, and you'll find pretty much everything. I found that when I didn't Google the name and go to the news, and I just searched through all, sometimes I'll miss certain things that could be important. This is a pretty good way to find most of what's going on. And if you look here, the first thing you see is director selling $20,000. Director selling, director selling, director selling. There's all kinds of selling been going on in the stock recently, and that's not a good sign. I mean, and it's not always necessarily negative. There have been times where stocks like Google and Zillow and Trulia have actually sold shares in a company before a merger. So that's probably what's moving this, is people talking about merger possibilities and all this pure speculation. There's absolutely no news to justify that. So that's when it comes to speculation, it's just basically a casino bet. As of thus far, there is no news whatsoever. You go in, you look at some other things the company, you see here that recently, I think back in May, June, their hepatitis B drug failed the phase 2. Okay, that's on Zacks. They had to lay off a bunch of employees. So a lot of negativity recently. So to me, it seems like there's more reason for directors to be selling because they're expecting the company to underperform than because there's any type of positive news. I mean, if there is positive news, then obviously that pops up sometimes here soon, the next week, then that would explain it. But I think it's just likely that they're trying to get out before the earnings, which happen to be next week. So it's a little bit convenient that the directors are unloading tons of shares right before the earnings come out. I mean, that kind of tells you a lot there. So keep that in mind. Also, when you go to StockTwits, a good sign of when a stock's about to crash on big moves is when you see the bulls just out of control. You look and see what looks like paid pumpers, and when you run through here, you see bullish. This reminds me of KBIO, which is a joke. could even see above 10. I mean, that kind of talk is just pure pumping. So there could be paid promoters pushing this thing, and it really is a good gauge when you see this type of activity in StockTwits. Gapping up Monday will be interesting to guess is $3 or above. This guy kills me right here. Me too greedy. Okay. GBM, it's finally here. News should be coming soon, in my opinion. And when you go, this guy actually, this makes sense here. Elk 3418. When people expect something to go to the moon, it goes down. Most likely spike first 20 minutes before the dump. That actually makes sense right there. He's right. When you start hearing people talking about going to the moon or the moon, that's my favorite one, the moon. When you see that type of stuff, that's when the stock's about to crash. All right, now let's check out Me Too Greedy. Okay, let's go in here. This guy's been pumping this thing for the last, all day Friday. He was pumping this thing. I saw crazy posts. So when you look at this guy a little closer, what do you see? Oh, here we go. What dip? This is going to the moon! Exclamation points. This is pure pumping right here, guys. I mean, this guy's either paid or he's in the stock long. He's trying to push this thing, and you got to watch this kind of stuff, because when you start seeing this, that's when you got to be ready to short it. All right. Now, going into here, let's show you Trulia and Zillow. This is where insiders sold shares before a merger report. You wouldn't. It doesn't make a lot of sense that you would want to sell a bunch of shares as a director or insider when the stock's about to jump. You would think they'd wait and then want to unload for maximum profit. So it's a little strange, but it does happen. I just want to show you guys that. I look at facts. I like to tell it how it is, and I give my opinions based on those facts. And this little article here about red flags when it comes to insider selling was interesting. Here you go. Significant selling is likely to be done with major announcements or fanfare. Is a red flag. I'm sorry, without major announcements is a red flag. And with this one, there's been significant selling, and there's no major announcements yet, at least. A large number of corporate insiders are selling within a short period of time. These guys have been selling since February, conveniently before the earnings release. The sales are made in the open market. I'm not sure about that one. The number of shares sold and subsequent dollar amounts realized are quite large. There's been big selling. The insider has a previous history of selling near the peak of the stock's price. Selling occurs after a large decline in the share price of the stock, which this stock has declined largely. If you look at the 6-month chart here, it's declined big time, and the selling is taking place after this drop. That's not a good sign. If they were selling after it's made a big run, that would make sense. They're trying to take their profits and on a big jump, that makes sense. But selling when the stock's already down, that's fishy. Yeah, this may indicate that insiders have little faith that their stock is going to rebound. Okay, so just some information there, some facts to show you to kind of bring these people back down to earth. The bulls need to come back down to earth. I don't want to see anybody end up holding the bag on this, and so just be careful if you're long. All right, now let's go over here to my real-time software and look into the streaming news here. We type in GBIM. You can see here Form 4, Form 4, Form 4, loaded with Form 4s, released starting back. When's the first one here? Yeah, about February. Now, all these Form 4s are pretty similar. They're all disposing of shares. They're getting rid of them, the insiders, the directors, and whatnot. So let's pull it up for an example. You see right here. Let's calm down. Here you go. Common stock 5,000, 159, 5,006, 4,000. And D means that they are being disposed. So they're getting rid of them. If they were buying them, it would have an A for acquiring. And you can see that. Look at the price on this. They're selling at 114, 114, 120. Why in the world would you sell a bunch of your shares if the stock is going to blow up on some sort of pump and it runs up to 260? If there was positive news, they would wait, because obviously the insiders are going to know it's coming. They would wait and they would dump the shares around 250. They wouldn't be unloading here. So we're still not exactly sure what's happening. Maybe a separate hedge fund is pumping it, or a brokerage firm, or maybe there's a paid promotion with stock promoters and pumpers could be pushing it. Maybe it is the insiders in the company. Maybe they're trying to sell more shares on the pop. There's no way to really know exactly what's happening here, but it all looks pretty fishy. Okay, so several of these Form 4s. I mean, look at this, this is crazy. Okay, also when you look at the chart, you can see that it showed some support around 186, and it held up the 2 area here, ended up closing right at resistance. Now, a lot of people might look at that as bullish. I actually look at that as kind of bearish, because when it closes at resistance, and if this double tops here, this could drop right off of it tomorrow and just drop on Monday. Of course, assuming that there's no news or anything like that. So a close at resistance is actually not really a good thing, because it could drop right off of this 260 area. And when you look at the 6-month chart, you can see there is some resistance in this range here. You can see kind of where it stopped right there along that line. All right. So it could show resistance around the 260 area and then drop. Is it possible that it could pop a little bit on Monday? Yeah, possibly. I mean, the bulls are going to be out. Ever since oil prices started to stabilize, they've been. I've seen a big change of volume in the market. So the bulls are out, and they may try to pop it or whatever. But I'm going to put a price target on this stock of $1.50. That's where I believe it's going to go in the short term, and I want to be clear that that's assuming there is no new news that pops up, of course, in the next week or so or whatever. But that's it, $1.50 price target. And I really believe that the company, just being 100% honest, I believe the company is more likely to go bankrupt than to actually have somebody buy it out and have anything positive happen with it. I mean, the way things are looking based on all these facts, that's really more what it looks like. And I just have this feeling that when earnings come out next week, I'm not sure exactly what day. I think it might be the 15th. I've got this feeling they're not going to be so hot. So if a bunch of bulls are buying this up and then the earnings come out and they're no good, it's going to crush it. So just be careful if you're long, and buy. If it runs Monday at all, you look to buy the dips, look to short any kind of peaks on resistance, but I wouldn't hold this thing for very long because we just don't know exactly what's happening with it. All right. So yeah, that's it's going to be it. If you have any questions, always feel free to email me, bprising1@gmail.com. And if you're interested in learning my strategies and receiving my real-time alerts, just go to bprising.com and check us out and join the team. Join the Trader Top team. All right, you'll learn a lot, and it's definitely worth the money. I can promise you that. So anyway, that'll be it. Thanks for watching, everybody. As always, I really do appreciate it, and I hope this video helped you out. So I will see you guys next time.